And hello everyone. Today we're going to take a look, a bit of a belated look really, sorry about that, at a game that goes by the name of Convoy. It is by Convoy Games, who knew? And it describes itself as FTL meets Mad Max. Now that is a recipe for pure joy for me. Mad Max is something I've always loved. When I was a kid, watching those movies kind of cemented my love for the sort of post-apocalyptic planet battle vehicles and all that nonsense, and that's why I love the Fallout universe so much. And FTL was an absolutely fantastic game that was really unique, and it's always good to see more games kind of iterating on that formula that they put forth, because FTL there's never really been anything quite like it. And more companies kind of taking a look at the things that made FTL so enjoyable to play and kind of making their own versions of that is always good to see. So Convoy is, that description's actually fairly accurate, because Convoy is FTL-ish in the way that it works. It is your kind of real-time tactical battles with lots of pausing and maneuvering, only instead of maneuvering a bunch of doomed space pilots on a ship that's going to explode very soon, you're maneuvering a bunch of doomed combat vehicles around a battlefield that will also explode very soon. And like I kind of am implying here, the game is quite difficult, just like FTL was, and has a similar feel to it. So let's jump in. I've got a bit of a save going with some good vehicles and things like that, but just to show kind of how you start off, I haven't actually unlocked anything yet, but as you can see, you start off with your MCV. This is your main vehicle. This is what you need to survive. If this dies, you lose the game. And there are a couple different ones you can start with. Actually, there's a lot of unlockables in this game. I never noticed how many there were. And you start with just very basic equipment. Depending on, I'm sure, which one you choose, start with different kinds of equipment. And you also can start with a couple of these different kinds of escort vehicles, and these are the things that you're actually going to be maneuvering. These are very important. Losing these doesn't mean you instantly lose, like losing the MCV does, but these are what actually protect the MCV, so they're just as important. And as you can see, there's a lot of different kinds that you can unlock, and each, of course, have their own different loadouts and possibilities. And, of course, you will be able to find more than just a single type. And throughout your game, you'll have more than just two, as you find and recruit more. So let's jump into my save here. And here we are. So this is my current little setup. I've got my original two vehicles here, kind of equipped with some better gear. I've got them upgraded, and I found a couple of other people, including this lady, who is absolutely ridiculously powerful, and have kind of upgraded them and things like that. So to show you how all this works, I guess the easiest way to go would be to go to the map. I said go to the map? There we go. Okay. And basically, you're going to be exploring a fairly large world and finding different quests. Now, you have your main objectives, which are to actually repair your crashed ship, that ship that you saw at the title screen. And each different time you actually start a new game, the territories are going to be different, and actually the main objectives can be a little bit different. For instance, the first time I started, this multi-cellulose infused ethanol, it comes up with random kind of silly sounding things you have to find. That actually wasn't one of the 4 objectives. It actually changes, and there are a huge number of little points of interest you can find and side missions that you can come across that can reward you or penalize you if you suck, or if you don't suck, they just can screw you over if you're not careful, just like FTL, ending up in the wrong system, jumping to a point that ends up being an ambush with a bunch of tough enemies and, exploding your ship all of a sudden. That can happen here as well, only it's not a ship. So you're going to be exploring this world, and this is you. As you can see, one thing I like, first of all, is that the terrain actually makes sense. So going up these hills and stuff is actually quite slow, but if you'll notice, when I hit the road, you actually start moving a lot faster. That's a cool little touch. I like that. And this is your sector view in FTL. This is what you'll be exploring, the world map, as it were, to try and get across. And you have fuel that you have to be careful with. You run out of fuel, you're screwed. And as you can see, there are 3 different factions of other people. And they also come in different strengths, as you can see here. And they each have their own kind of characteristics and their own different ways of combat. For instance, Torvak is pretty technologically advanced. You'll be coming across lots of energy weapons and things if you're finding those, and so on and so forth. So right now, let's see, I think I've completed this one. What I need to do is just go towards one of my main objectives. So if you click on one, it will point you towards it and tell you how far away it is. So this one's closer, so we're gonna go there. And I'm gonna try and follow the road for a while to try and get through this without hopefully too much. And here we go. There are all kinds of random encounters you can get. So here's the first one. There's a raider territory. Respond? Idle threats. Okay, well, as you can see, tons of random encounters. Again, just like FTL. There appears to be a little camp here. What's this? Yeah, it's a camp. Alright, so there are camps you can come across. In a camp, you can outfit and upgrade your vehicles. As you can see here, they have different slots, and you can have 4 different items on you at any given time. And you use scrap to actually upgrade different statistics for your vehicles. Each vehicle can be upgraded in each category a different number of times. So in other words, some vehicles actually have more max health and can be upgraded more, whereas some are just inherently faster and things like that. That makes it... I like that, because that makes each vehicle different. Instead of basically being like, the vehicles are only different at the start, but once they're all upgraded to max, they're basically all the same. This system makes it to where all the vehicles are actually quite different, and since they can only be upgraded up to a maximum of a specifically tailored amount in every different category, that means that even when fully upgraded, the vehicles end up different than each other, so they all still feel different, which is nice. And there are different types of slots that you can actually equip with each vehicle. These all have red ones, which are basically weapons. And also, you can find these utility slots and utility items to go in them, such as a ballistic computer and a shield. So that's what this blue glowy thing is. And then, of course, you have your MCV, which can also be upgraded a lot, but it doesn't maneuver really like the others, which I'll have to show you once we actually get into a battle. But upgrading it is very important because, again, if this dies, you instantly lose, and it has very flexible slots that have usable, basically activatable abilities. So I have an EMP blaster, and I have 3 mine layers. Now, you might be asking, why would you have 3 of the same thing? That's because they have a cooldown. And so this allows me to actually fire 3 instead of only 1 every 14 seconds. So there you go. And you can also repair, and you can buy the occasional new item, weapon, or other vehicle to actually go with you. You can hire vehicles, which is nice, but they're quite expensive, one thing to remember. And let's see, a light plasma cannon, heavy rocket artillery. There's actually quite a bit of variety, not at first, but once you get playing for a while, there's actually a lot of variety in vehicles and items. But you have to remember that the camps are kind of permanent, so that if you clear out a shop from one camp and you come back to that camp later, don't expect that shop to suddenly be restocked. Generally speaking, they are permanent. So I need fuel very badly. I'm almost broke, but I need fuel, so I'm just going to spend what I have left, since everything is repaired pretty much to full already. And we're going to leave and see if we can get in some fun things. But of course, as you can see here, this dark color means that the factions are very strong in those areas. So I don't really want to go there, so I'm going to have to burn more fuel to take a longer way around, just so I can kind of have a better chance at survival, because I don't have a extremely high quality weapons and gear. Well, looks like you're gonna get attacked, so yeah, here we go. Fighting some Torvac. Alright, here's how the system works. So you can pause repeatedly, just like an FTL with the spacebar. Oh, that's a lot of dudes. And you're gonna want to do that all the time. So you can maneuver all of your vehicles around, and this green border is their weapons range, which can be upgraded with scrap. Now, your MCV is always right in the middle. It cannot move, but everything else can, including the enemies, and that's actually really important because a lot of weapons are, again, ranged and projectile-based, and also there will be some different obstacles in the way that if you hit will pretty much instantly blow you up, so you got to be careful with that. So I'm going to have this guy stay here and attack him. Let's see, we're going to lay on the fire with some of the more dangerous looking guys, because, well, I want to. Alright, here we go. Oh my god. and things get very hectic very quickly. Now, I can have some of my my MCV's abilities fire off here to help me out, and try and get these guys dealt with as soon as possible, because I don't want to be outnumbered for very long. And you have an armor and a health bar for everything. That's something to consider. And, of course, the fact that all of your vehicles have differing weapons, and the weapons all have different statistics, and they're good against different kinds of vehicles. So health and armor and shields and things like that. Usually energy weapons are good against shields, and etc., etc. So that was pretty easy. Medium railgun, very nice. And as you can see here, there's about to be a obstacle that comes. I just want to go ahead and show this. So this is kind of a cool system. Again, this is the Mad Max part, the Road Warrior part, where you actually have to be moving around a lot during battle to try and avoid instant death and things like that. And it gives the combat a kind of a cool feeling of well, just like in movies like that, like in the Mad Max movies, they are constantly, going around really fast and trying to dodge ramps and cliffs and stuff like that. Although the sense of speed obviously isn't the same, the idea is the same. So here we go. A shady part of town. Well, is there any other part of town in a world like this? Who knows? Let's see. Let's just look around. Come across a tramp stumbling across the street, loudly singing a song about a fair city where the girls are pretty. There are a lot of pop culture references in this game, references to other games and all kinds of stuff. I mean, you may have even noticed on the title screen that your ship says 0451 on it, which, yeah. So, let's talk to him. I'm just looking for the milk bar, dude. Okay, good. Let's see, a large neon sign with the entrance depicting a naked woman, of course. Some sleazy-looking men wearing white jumpsuits and a variety of hats hang around the entrance. Let's just go in. I have a feeling this is going to be bad. But furniture in the shape of naked women, of course, and the milk is served from their nipples. Classy. Various states of intoxication sprawled across the floor, tables, and stools. This is just a wonderful city. Youthful-looking man, almost cherubic features, glares at you from across the room. Let's talk to that guy. Oh. Provide me with the excitement and joy of combat. Be happy to give you a stabilizer in return. 3 different factions. Sure, what the heck. Kill some evildoers. And, let's see, hops on happily starts entering coordinates to your map. Alright, well, let's do it, I guess. And this is kind of how it works. You're going to be asked to do all kinds of things and go around to all sorts of places doing various quests. And a lot of these side quests will actually get you good equipment and sometimes more people. As I mentioned, this lady here, this Ashley lady, she joined me because of a multi-stage side quest that I completed, and she's actually pretty good. She's probably the most powerful vehicle I have. Kidnapped a woman called Elizabeth. Her safety is of the utmost importance. Alright, so what's the plan? Radio them and negotiate her release, or to feign ignorance, get them to attack us to weaken their forces without making it apparent we're here for Elizabeth. Radioing them sounds dumb, but I'm gonna do it, because why not? Does not welcome visitors. We suggest you leave. Offer to trade? Uh-oh. Alright. Alright, well, let's have them come for us then. Alright, here we go. Most of the game revolves around the combat system, if that's not already extremely obvious. Uh-oh. But generally speaking, what you're actually going to be doing for a large portion of the game is the combat and trying to make it between campsites with enough fuel and scrap to keep yourself going. Again, it's a lot like FTL in that respect, where it's very much about resource conservation and about maxing out your possible survival rates, right? You don't want to stay in a dangerous place for too long, but it can be very lucrative to be in a dangerous place for a little while. And that's kind of the idea. You're trying to not get immediately killed, but also make enough money and enough actual friends and things like that to keep going, because just advancing quickly, well, that can get you killed. So you want to actually be equipped properly as well. So let's talk about the combat system. It's actually really good. I like the combat system a lot. It's very tactical, lots of pausing and maneuvering and things like that, again, which is similar to FTL, and I like the whole real-time hazard system, avoiding wrecks that you'll see and avoiding mines and big cliffs and cliff faces that instantly blow you up and things like that. It gives a nice kind of Road Warrior vibe to an otherwise 2D tactical combat system. It's a pretty cool little mix. I like it. Alright, there we go. Okay. I guess we're going back then. And of course, just like FTL, you're trying to survive, so you have to get back to camps every now and then and actually repair your vehicles and things like that. Uh-oh. We're just gonna avoid that. It could be an ambush, but it could be some nice equipment, but I'd rather just go back to the milk bar. It's been a blast. I'd like to join my adventures. Alright, and like I said, you can sometimes get people. So here we go. I could get this guy. Let's see, what's he got? He's got one of these vehicles, which is awesome. A really powerful shield, wow. And some heavy railguns. Yeah, I'm definitely not leaving him. Alright, so who am I going to give up? I think I'll probably give up... Gosh. Probably this guy. Let's give him up. There we go. So now, luckily it gives me his equipment back. Now we've got some pretty potent people on our sides. So let's try and make it back to the ship. You're of course trying to get these parts for your crashed spaceship and trying to bring them back in working order, but I need to get back to camp because I'm not going to make it there on the fuel that I have. Come on. Camp. Alright. So I'd like to repair, but first of all I need fuel as a kind of necessity. So let's get some fuel. Obviously you get fuel from bad legs sometimes, but I don't necessarily trust myself to be able to get that far. So I'm just going to buy a bunch of fuel. Right. Can you actually sell things? Yes, you can. Alright, well, I'm going to sell some of this stuff because it's not as good as what's also equipped. There is this medium railgun, though. I'm kind of curious if it might be worth taking it. Let's see. A bunch of HP damage, not very good against armor. This ignores shields. Oh. Wow. Yes, I think I'll actually switch that out. Boop. And as you can see, I could upgrade some people. It might be a good idea to actually upgrade the new person I just got, because although they have good equipment, they're not upgraded very much, which means they're a bit of a liability until I maybe get them, although their handling is really good. So upgrading handling and range and stuff is very important because you want them to be able to attack from a long range, but you also want them to be able to maneuver very well and things like that. It's a pretty interesting kind of mix that you need to strike, a balance of being able to actually move them around quickly in combat and things like that, but also having the firepower to make sure combat doesn't last for too long and end up taking a bunch of damage on your main vehicle and things like that. Because again, your MCV needs to survive. Prepare to dance. The writing in this game is actually really good, for one thing. The writing is pretty fantastic. A lot of the people that you'll come across are pretty silly in the kind of screwed up world of a wasteland kind of way. It's fun to read, I gotta say. Alright, so looks like we're gonna try and target some of the more difficult enemies first off with our longer range guys here. Alright, keep attacking them, Also, friendly fire, interestingly enough, is actually a possibility in this game, which is different for games like this. Oftentimes friendly fire isn't really something that you need to worry about, but in this case there's a lot of equipment that are like really long range lasers and things like that, and your own mines and all those things, they can actually hurt your own guys. And another thing to consider, which I haven't showed yet, is you can actually ram people, which is interesting. In fact, you can ram them so hard they move in front of obstacles, so you can actually get them killed, which again has that kind of Road Warrior feel. I mean, how many of those movies have you seen where they are like speeding alongside each other and there's a cliff about to come up, so you know the good guy, the hero of the movie, rams into the side of the enemy's vehicle and sends them careening off a cliff, or sends them right directly into the cliff face and makes them explode and things like that. That's all actually implemented into the combat system, which is pretty cool. It's pretty neat. I like it. Investigate. Let's see. Wow. All right. A crap ton of scrap for that. Nice. We're getting lucky. This is good. But of course, just if you've played FTL, you know that getting lucky tends to not last for very long, and is usually quickly followed by getting very unlucky and then blowing up. So, we're doing good. Let's go ahead and camp some more. Now that I've got a bunch of scrap, I can make sure everybody is topped up on repairs, and then see what I have left over. Also, I can scrap this. There's a fairly good variety in weapons and items, because there are many different types, as in missiles, rockets, mortar-y-looking things, energy weapons, cannons, railguns, laser beams that are actually like constant beams that you have to be careful how you aim, and like pulse lasers that just like fire projectiles and things like that. And as you saw there, that chainsaw is something that actually upgrades your melee abilities. So like actually ramming dudes activates the chainsaw and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. There's a good amount of flavor to the world they've created that's apparent in the writing and in the way that the combat system works, and with all of the crazy weapons you can get and stuff. I'd like to see some modding capabilities for this. I think that would extend its longevity heavily if you could actually like make your own custom scenarios and your own custom vehicles and weapons and things like that, and you can actually have that kind of stuff added into the game via maybe Steam Workshop support. I would love to see that. That would be awesome. So if that's possible, I would definitely recommend that that's something that the devs go for. But they also have been updating the game fairly recently, and pretty actively. They've actually been able to keep updates rolling in to help balance things and add more equipment and side quests and random events and stuff like that to keep it interesting. So let's just go up here just to show you an example of one of these little random side quests. There's a bunch of them, and they all have to do with, you know, kind of like text adventuring, and there's actually a lot of different possibilities and a lot of different outcomes that can happen depending on what you choose, which I like. Always fun. Adds a lot of variety to replays, which of course, in a difficult game with permadeath that's based on a lot of unlockables and stuff, you're going to be replaying it a lot. That's the idea. A football stadium in the middle of a wasteland. Interesting. A vomitorium. Head into the field. Smell rotting flesh. That's good. They appear to all have rotting torsos inside them. That's disturbing. Chase the shadow. She introduces herself as Ashley. Wait, I've actually done this before, I think. This is how I got Ashley. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've done this already, actually. And maybe we'll spot her again someday. Yeah. So, again, just like FTL, the game has a lot of... Uh-oh. Investigate. Hang on. Massive exhaust pipe as a lance and his steering wheel as a shield. Plate mail of spare parts. That's very Mad Max. Have at thee, servant of the dragon. Order of the wheel on a quest to defeat the legendary dragon. Sounds legit. Yep. Sure, we'll help you. You sound like fun. Dragon Cave. Right. Yeah, we're definitely doing Here Be Dragons. A delirious man, legendary dragon. Yeah, let's totally check this out. But the game does have a lot of variety in the side quests and the dialogue options and things you'll find, which is important in a game like this. Again, like I was trying to mention before I was rudely interrupted by a mentally ill man looking for a post-apocalyptic dragon, the importance of being able to replay parts and have different outcomes and stuff is important for a game like this, because you're going to be constantly going back and forth and probably running into the same events over and over, but when there are so many different outcomes and possibilities, it's better for you, basically. Uh-oh. Random battle. It's better to actually be able to do that. I didn't notice that I'm almost out of fuel, so this is actually probably a good battle for me. Hopefully I get some fuel from it. Alright, we want to target that guy right now. So I think you're getting the idea. This is basically how the game goes on. Tons of side quests, pretty good dialogue, and very interesting little events that happen occasionally. You're going to be trying to maneuver your way around these fairly interesting battles and find your way around this sort of post-apocalyptic world that is definitely very Mad Max in style and has a good amount of strategic battle going along with it. But again, this is one of those games that if you don't really enjoy the battle system that much, you're not going to actually enjoy the game, probably, because the game is its battle system. Like, that's the main actual portion of the game that you're really going to be doing a lot. So hopefully you actually like it, but there's a lot to like with the variety in equipment and the way that the battle system works with ramming and trying to stay away from the hazards and things like that. It's pretty fun. So this has been Convoy. If you want to check it out, I'd recommend it. It's still being actively developed. There's still, oh god, there's still some fun things going on with it. And hopefully some more modding support and things like that is added in the near future. I'll try and keep you updated on that. But to close out the video, let's show you what happens with the Dragon Cave. Somehow I don't think there will actually be a dragon in there. Oh god. The day of your reckoning is nigh. Right. Oh, it actually is a dragon. Wow. Alright, let's see what happens. And oh my god, that is a dragon. Oh shoot, this might not have been a good idea. As you could of course guess, by the way, if any of your vehicles are destroyed, they are gone for good, and all of the upgrades that you've put into them, also gone for good. So again, it has the FTL, oh god, feel of, please don't blow me up, I've been working on this for hours, kind of idea. Oh my god, that is a dragon. This is not good. If I EMP it, maybe I can live long enough. Oh dear. Uh-oh. Alright. Alright. As you can probably tell, the battles actually do get quite hectic. And because of the limited range system and things like that, you're having to maneuver your vehicles around fairly often to keep them in range of the enemy, maybe out of range of some of the more difficult enemies, and also try not to get horrendously murdered by hazards. Because again, those actually will kill you instantaneously if they hit you. Alright, we're just gonna try and keep pounding on this guy and see what happens, and oh god. This is not good. I can't believe this is actually a crazy, weird, scrap dragon vehicle. Okay. Yeah. Basically, this is like a mini-boss fight, and it's damaging us a lot, especially my MCV. So this better give us really good rewards. Hopefully it was worth it. If I'm actually able to survive the fight, because that's a lot of lasers. A good way to close off the video, I think. It's all about trying to use your people and equipment in the most effective way possible and not get blown to pieces. There we go, I am a dragon slayer. Oh, wow. Oh, okay, that's pretty good, yeah. Now what? The knight looks thoughtful and then explains he never really thought about what to do after his quest had finished. Yeah, let's see what his vehicle's like. From the remains of this dragon, oh my god. Yes! That's so cool. Wow, he's really good, actually. Yeah, I'll take a dragon, why not? So there we go, folks. This has been Convoy. If it looks like something you would enjoy, I would very highly recommend giving it a shot. It is very interesting. It's a pretty neat concept, and it's executed very well. The updates, it's been a little while since an update, but not too long, and I feel like modding capabilities and things like that are things that are indeed on the radar of the developers of the game, which is important. and I would definitely say that that's something they should do if at all possible. So check it out on Steam, not expensive, I'll link you in the description, and if it looks interesting to you, try it out. It's a good amount of tactical battle fun, and if you liked games like FTL, then it's definitely something that you should enjoy. So, there you go folks, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.